Come on, let's whip these guys.
Hello everyone and welcome to Red United TV. Welcome to the catch-up volume 69. It's your boy Ivorian Spice. We are back again with another week, another volume. An interesting week for Manchester United last week, going through to the next round of the Champions League, also catching 3 points in the Premier League. Also another interesting, one of my favorite UFC female fights, Amanda Nunes, got knocked the F out. Tapped out as well. Well, tremendous weekend it was for sporting events itself. Lewis Hamilton as well got robbed, apparently so, as they say, but he will get knighted. But for those who are tuning in, big ups to you guys. Thank you for those who are tuning in. Thank you for your support. As always, remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you can always press that follow button. For those who are watching on Facebook, you can always press that like button and also share across all social media platforms as well, across your friends' page as well. Last but not least, for those YouTubers, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and remember to share. And if you want to contribute to this channel, you can always contribute via PayPal on the links description, and also in the super chat on the live Facebook, as of course. But yes, guys, we are here to talk about Manchester United. For those Man United lovers, it is what it is. Let's get straight into it. Let me introduce you to the guys who are with us. First of all, let me introduce you to my co-host, Amuk. Big ups to you, my brother Amuk. It's been a decent week for Manchester United in terms of the Champions League result and also the Premier League result, man. How was your weekend? How was the week in general?
Life's been better, Like gradually, my weekends is just getting better from like the past previous weeks. But gradually, this week actually good. It's not, can't get too excited, but it's been very, very good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, so good. So looking forward.
Next, we've got Munzi. What's up, Munzi? Bigs up to you, man. Just done another show. Of course, guys, remember you guys can always watch Munzi's show that's just recently been on after this show. Munzi, how have you been? How was your weekend?
Yeah, I've been all right, yeah. Weekend was all right. I know the football weren't great, but 3 points, that's all that matters.
Exactly. So 3 points. That's it. 3 points is all that matters. People want to talk about the performance. Right now, it's not about looking at the performance. It's about getting the win, the points back on the table.
Just quickly as well, in that intro, was that you and Pretty Flacco dancing?
Oh, no. That was other people. That was Jay Lingard and Paul Pogba. You get me dancing. Wish it was me, but it isn't. Big ups to Jerome, of course. My brother, how was you and how was your weekend? How you feeling, bro?
Yeah, man. All good in the hood. This weekend, as the guys were saying, it's always a better weekend when United win. Long may that continue. Games are coming thick and fast now, so we just got to keep moving. But all in all, good weekend. Good weekends always go quickly. That's the only downside. But
I know.
I
know the good weekend.
Got another week to grind through. Hopefully the game goes ahead tomorrow. And more wins, and just slowly but surely creep up the table.
As you heard there, what Jerome just said there, hopefully the game does go forward. Guys, if you're watching, there is a COVID outbreak, or was there a COVID situation at Manchester United where now, in terms of Carrington, has been closed down for 24 hours. And we are hoping, with our fingers crossed, because we just about to start enjoying Manchester United since that scrub that we should not mention has since he's left, because back then I did not want to watch a Manchester United game. I didn't look forward to it. Now that he's gone, all that bad negative atmosphere is gone, and now you can start enjoying Manchester United again. This situation arises of a COVID where Manchester United match potentially may be postponed. But it's not about that right now. Let's get straight into it. Of course, let me get straight to my camera. Yes, guys, it is Norwich City 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United picking up 3 points against Norwich City. Norwich tried a thing against us, but however, Manchester United themselves did prevail and get the 3 points with a penalty from your one and only, your ones and truly, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yep, Manchester United get a 3 points. But in my opinion, first of all, let me get started, guys, because although I thought Manchester United, in terms of their performance, was utter shit, especially in the first 45 minutes, and also in that second half where I thought Manchester United tried to do something, but nothing really came out of them. But as always, professionally, they've done a professional job. It's one of those 1-0 that the defense themselves needed, and the defense themselves did extremely well in certain situations as well. David De Gea was exceptional. I'm pleased about the result. The performance-wise, it is what it is. We'll work on it. We'll get there. Amuk, let me get your opinion on your overall thoughts on the game.
Like, it was just upsetting though, a little bit, because I felt like we were getting into the rhythm of seeing what we started seeing from the new manager. But it's like the old bad habits start creeping in. Players start losing the ball easily, and I felt we didn't really play good. We just won the match. Our performance was terrible. The defenders did well. But just some like this specific moment I felt like we should have considered, and I was gonna blame Maguire. He got turned so easy, and David Bayer had to do something. What's it called? Lindelof had to do something stupid, and I was just thinking, what happened? But we were lucky. It was a good match though to see how the players came back together and just to come back, because obviously there's pressure within the squad itself, the new management, and this is, I think, his third match. We would see ups and downs. We would see different type of football. We would see players giving different type of performances because everyone should impress the manager. So I wasn't really too bothered about the result or anything. Obviously, I knew we got the 3 point, but the performance was a little bit worrying for me, just because we just came from that type of performance, and I don't want to see us performing that way. Just looking forward towards Champions League and other games coming up, because it's December. The games are coming thick and thick. You have to do well. So hopefully we can just, like Jerome said before, creep up and do what we got to do. But it was a decent match to have the 3 point.
No, absolutely. It was a decent match to have the 3 point. Let me read out to you, Monzi. Let me get your 2 cents of the match against Norwich. What was your impression?
Oh, well, yeah, just what Moore said, really. And what you said, not really great performance. Some people not doing, I know they like, from the Crystal Palace game, they pressed too much and then they got tired. This time they didn't press at all. But yeah, you know, it was definitely a penalty. It must annoy Norwich fans that see. I know they've got a new manager in, which has probably helped them, but to play like that against us, why aren't they further up the table? They're just like, you know what I mean? They played really well. If they had a striker, then put the ball away, then it might have been different. But I think if they had scored, we'd have gone and we'd have given us a kick up the backside. But I know that is the first time Man United manager since probably the 50s that's kept a clean sheet in 2 league games, which is pretty good fact considering I thought it'd be Ferguson. But yeah, 2 clean sheets in his first 2 games. Different, the Crystal Palace game it was different, and then this one. But yeah, I'll take a win. Just we need to just keep winning, really.
Yes, and let me move it up to you, Jerome. Of course, you watched the match. What was your overall impression of Manchester United versus Norwich on that day?
Well, as the guy said, it wasn't a good performance. So it was a performance to forget, really. The result was the most important thing. And as Mondi said, it was good to get the clean sheet, 2 consecutive league clean sheets. So one of the positives from the game is that we're looking a bit more solid in defence now, and we're not just conceding goals left, right, and centre. So we can take that away. But I think moving forward, we need to make sure that the teams sort of sustain a bit more of their fitness levels, because it looks like they're going to struggle if they go at this rate with this sort of pressing style that Ralph wants to implement. Because we saw a good pressing in the first half against Crystal Palace, but against Norwich, as the guy said, that there was literally just there's nothing there. We were just going back to old habits. So I think the game itself, I think we just kind of need to just let this go as like a one-off, because we have to appreciate that we're not going to have good performances every single game in a long, hard season. So I wouldn't be too disappointed, but I wouldn't expect us to raise our performance level, because Norwich, bottom of the table, we need to be expecting better than that. We should have been wiping the floor of them, winning out 3 or 4-0, and not scraping them 1-0. So we just need to move on from this one. Really, it's not a good performance, but as I was saying, just take the 3 points and see if we can improve going forward.
No, absolutely. We take the 3 points, man. Let me bring back everyone into the conversation. Of course, we should just take the 3 points. We should be happy about that. Let me just go to the chats, because of course Ems is with us watching. Big up to Ems, who at the moment can't be with us. Hopefully he could probably join, as he said, but he'll just be watching if anything. Big up to Ems. He says, yo, I'm listening. My guy, sorry I can't be there. United game was dreadful. Of course, this is his opinion. Let me just say that. Drop blood. You get me? Don't mention that former manager, yeah? It's the previous game. Big up to the Mems Human. Big up to you. Make sure you smash that like, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so I can see that you're new. Said Rashford, 2 needs dropping. Yeah, absolutely. We will talk about Mark Rashford. But yeah, as I was saying, of course, now that we're back in the chat, man, that first half was dreadful from Manchester United. You didn't see that intensity that you saw against Crystal Palace. Some of us, of course, amongst us, there were fans that were probably thinking or questioning Ragnick, but then again, they don't understand football. It's only the 3rd game. You know, you gave Oli 2 years before you decided to go attempt to sling the hook. Some of you gave him 3.5. Some of you still giving him a chance right now.
Gary Neville
is shit. Yeah.
And Gary Neville is.
Before you start questioning his football. But people are questioning Ralph Ragnick's football, which we'll get into later on in the show. But yeah, man, that first 45 minutes was horrendous, as you guys can agree. Manchester United in the second half, I don't know what you guys thought, but I didn't really think too much of Manchester United in the second half. I thought they tried to do something. They came out in a bit of a hurry, and after the first 10 minutes, died out where it's just Norwich. Then of course Manchester United got the goal by the penalty. Now I want to move up to you guys. What was your impression of Manchester United's performance in the game itself?
I think it was a poor performance overall. Obviously, the defence did themselves justice, so yeah, that's one positive we can take. But I think the key players in our attacking areas, they definitely need to fix up. Because as the guys in the chat were saying, Rashford poor, Bruno poor, Ronaldo didn't get that much from him. Just in general attacking play, there was nothing there really. And against the Norwich side, we should be carving them open at will. So yeah, it wasn't a good viewing. It was almost like we were watching the previous regime, as Ems was saying. Yeah, I just think we can't get any worse than that, really, because it was that bad. And I know people are going to question the manager, but it takes quite a while to implement his philosophy, especially because the team haven't not been used to pressing the other bits of it. So there's a lot of intricate work that needs to be done in training, and hopefully the team can sort of buy into that, because at the moment, if they don't, then we're just going to see the same thing that we've seen throughout the season.
I think you're
Amuk, what was your impression of Manchester United's performance? Sorry about that.
That's right. It was dreadful. Like, it was kind of upsetting like I said, it felt like the old habit was creeping in. But what the difference between the old habit and what we saw on Saturday was the defense actually did good. And for some reason, I would say the defense did good, but we were also lucky that they were not that clinical. If they were clinical, we could have get punished, like both in the first half and the second half. Because for a team to dominate first and second half against United and you staying at the bottom of the Premier League table, that's worrying. But for me, I'm not really upset about what happened. It's what people saying in the media that I'm actually upset about, because at the end of the day, it's the new manager. Give him a chance. Not after 2 games, they said too much, and I felt like it's unfair. But the performance itself was dreadful, and I believe. Remember, I did say on, I can't remember if it was on this show or the previous show before. Not the previous show before. I did say, Ollie left the club. Sorry, guys, sorry, I'm saying his name.
Oh, you said his name.
No, I know.
Ems is fuming right now.
I know. He left the club, but he did not just leave the club. These are humans. There's things that was going on. How many times did we hear that the people say the players were unhappy within the camp? So do you think this new manager is going to come change all of that? I did say we're going to see the ups and downs, but one thing that we should be excited about is we got a specific someone who knows what he's doing and he knows how to utilize what he's got at his disposal. So just give him a chance. We will see what happens. I'm really optimistic about this person, this new manager. But people should just lay low and just give him a chance. He hasn't lost yet. Everyone who played terrible, we still won the match by a penalty, which was a clean-cut penalty.
And Monzi, what about you? What did you think of the performance?
Yeah, I was just like shocked because they had that. All the players had a week. Really, they had all that time off. They didn't play midweek. He rested them, so it was a bit of a shock the way they come out and they look tired. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, win's a win. Do you know what I mean? I'll take the win. So they sort of after the first 10 minutes, Norwich sort of thought, right, well, they're going to press us. We're going to play long ball, and then we sort of went back to what we was playing like. Do you know what I mean? Bruno running around like a headless chicken when he didn't need to. McTominay and Fred passing to each other and then passing to the ball boy on the side. Do you know what I mean? Just rubbish. Do you know what I mean? They just went back to normal. Rashford, well, how I feel about Rashford, but he's just gone back. He's just gone back to what he was. He's not fit. I heard the reason why he kept him on is because he wanted to get minutes under his belt, but Sancho wasn't doing as much. Sancho did play well. None of them really played that well apart from De Gea, but Sancho should have stayed on, and then Greenwood should have come on instead of for Rashford. But can't. We played dreadful, but you can't really slate them because they won. So, end of the day, we're getting closer to West Ham, getting closer to Chelsea, hopefully. But yeah, we keep winning. You can't really do a lot. Another clean sheet. That's what you come in there to do. Get some players back. Hopefully tomorrow, if it goes ahead, it's going to be a tough game.
Okay. Big up to Evans as well, who also has a few comments. He also said that Bruno needs dropping. United were awful as well, as he said earlier on. But he said maybe the players were tired. We've got Mebs Human that said, of course, as well, the positive brings a clean sheet again. Of course, Ems also said, why did you mention him? Which I did say.
I'm sorry. I know.
Bring it up to say that. Why? Of course,
I was just making emphasis about the new manager because I felt like the players. I don't want to blame the players and the manager, but it takes time for you to implement your own strategy or your method. And he's just tired.
Yeah, just tired. But you guys, as always, those who are tuning in, make sure you subscribe, smash that like, but make sure you share as well across all social media platforms. Those who are watching on Twitch, Facebook, and also YouTube itself. But speaking of players, yes, let's speak of Marcus Rashford, as Munzi did highlight. Rashford, a very frustrating player. I've had enough sometimes because he was absolutely terrible. For him to get picked again for this game, because in my heart, I thought Bruno should have started. But Rashford in the game, guys, let's talk about Rashford's performance in that game. Terrible. Didn't offer anything. Another bad performance, guys. Like, I can't. There's so many times Marcus Rashford, and again, unable to make the right decisions. There were so many times he made the wrong decision, didn't make that pass, or didn't even think about looking ahead of himself. Again, Rashford needs saving. I don't know. Ever since he's come back from his injury, I don't know if it's taken him a while to get everything to get going. But right now, he's not where he needs to be, and he should be able to be dropped. What would you guys' thoughts on Rashford's performance in that game?
I think his performance was just pathetic, to be honest. As you said, when he came back from his long-term injury, I expected him to come back firing on all cylinders. And he's almost like he's come back worse from before he was injured. So it's not looking good at the moment for Rashford. And I was just surprised that he even started the game against Norwich. Hopefully he gets dropped for the next game, because we can't keep going in the habit of playing players that are not playing well, because it's not good for the overall performance of the team structure. If you've got someone that's the weakest link in there, that's not performing at all and it's just regressing every game. He's always making the wrong decisions, and I don't know if I know for a fact that they're definitely working on something with him in the coaching side of things, but it just doesn't look like he's picking up on anything. It's almost like it's almost hard to ingrain it in him what he needs to do to better perform, because he's doing the same thing day in, day out, and he's been doing this for the last 18 months to 2 years. This is the same exact Rashford. And he's 24 years old now. You would have expected him to have made some sort of improvement to his game, but it's just exactly the same every single week. And it might sound like I'm just hating on him, but I want him to do well. But at the moment, I'm just disappointed with him, and he's almost frustrating watching him. You could just sit there. He'll literally, your team could be playing well, and he makes that one silly error, and that's it. You've had enough of him. You just have to get him off, because he does the same mistakes every week. It's like he's not processing the mistakes and learning from it. And that's the frustrating thing. So hopefully he gets put on the bench for the next game so that he can look and just think about what he needs to do to get back into the team, because it's almost like he's just in some sort of comfort zone where he's a little pilot, and it doesn't matter what he does, he's always going to get a place in the team. And I just hope that Ralph gets away from the previous regime where players are just playing continuously, even though they're out of form. I think the squad needs a lot of shaking up and to be for the players to keep on toes, especially Rashford.
Okay. And who else has their opinion? I want to go to you, Amok, because I don't know, because obviously last week he was backing your boy Rashford as well. Of course, what he done, which I understand. But again, another poor performance from Rashford, man. What do you have to say about that?
You lot said last week.
Mm-hmm.
This it ain't been that long from last week, you know. Like, all I gotta say is this. Jerome mentioned something that I just want to emphasize on a little bit, is how he process wherever he get told, or after the match you go watch your video of performance in the piece. One thing that we all know, he makes the same mistakes week in, week out. And to be honest with you, it's frustrating. But I wouldn't be too harsh on Rashford as it is right now. Because let me tell you, something just came from an injury. And not just an injury, he had to go through surgery. And it takes time for people to go through surgery to get back to the normal self.
But how can you not be? Rashford has been doing the same. He's doing the same.
Yes, he's been injured.
Same behavior.
He's coming, like I said.
He was injured.
Do you remember one game last season? I don't want to say his name again. And I actually got upset. Like, I actually got upset. We were doing decent in the match. We were playing like a non-team. We were winning 1-0. Why did you have to bring Rashford in and come get injured? And after that injury that day, Rashford ain't been the same.
The one thing I must say to counter that is, if Rashford was injured, why didn't he tell the coaching staff or tell the physios that he needs time out to recover?
Rashford was only his man. Rashford was only man. He saved the old manager. He was forcing Rashford to play with injuries. He took Rashford to Euros with injury. He's like, I understand what you're saying about his performance, but he's a superstar. He's very good.
He's a superstar.
He's very good. He's not just doing it. He's not just cutting it right now. And my thing is, I believe he knows me about Rashford. I don't really like these players like that. I got my favorite player. My favorite player in Manchester is Matteo and Lindelof. I like them to play better than anyone else. But at the end of the day, like I still believe it's just injuries. Give him time, brother. Last week in this
Trust me,
weekend,
Rashford, he's been given
it's
plenty
not
of
the far part. It's not
You
the
know how
far
long he's been
part.
at United? He's been
It's
at
not the far
United
part.
since
It would come.
since
Rashford giving us
2015.
Rashford giving us
I
things to
think,
smart
yeah, I
about.
think
You
it's
know, don't
I
forget
think
that.
we need to get out in the world. He's giving Rashford time.
He
So
is our player. He is the man.
he's
Anyone
been,
can come
and
to
how many
United.
managers
Can't
has he
take.
been under?
Yeah, but that's
Three
true.
managers.
Can I just
Yes.
He's
intercept?
still exactly the same.
Can I
No,
just quickly intercept you
he's been
guys?
saving us.
Can I intercept
He's
you
been
guys?
saving us.
And the thing is, he was playing
He's
injured.
been saving us.
Yes, but you know
He's
what,
been
guys?
saving us.
Yes, he saved us. I understand that, guys. But yeah, but
saved
again,
us.
he's been poor recently in that game.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
big up to you guys as well. Let me big up to Deepan Shrew that's just been tuning. Big up to you that says when Pogba will come back in the future, then what should be the midfield under Ragnick? I'm hoping to see Pogba that starting up lineup as well. But if he can't carry the duties, I'm not going to stop my man from being dropped anymore. It's been years now. And we need change at Manchester United. We need that infrastructure to come back, that strictness. If you don't want to feel, you don't want to play, if you don't really need to do the work, you can sit on the bench now. It's a different time at Manchester United. Another player that as well raised a few eyebrows. Again, Bruno Fernandes. I would like to talk about as well, guys, quick, because I just think Bruno has been so damn poor. Again, in that game, absolutely useless. Muzzy, do you have what was your thoughts on Bruno Fernandes? Because I thought you had a stinker, another stinker.
Yeah, he just don't like in the system he's playing. He needs to stay in the number 10 and press as a number 10, not go in the midfield. You know, I think someone said there was a chance when Sancho was on the left, and you know Bruno should be in the middle, so he could cross it in. Bruno was left back. Now we don't want Bruno that left back. He's started running around like a headless chicken. He does that sometimes. If he don't get his own way, he starts running around like a headless chicken, and he makes these Hollywood passes, as they say, and not coming off. Yeah, at the end of the day, if Ralph Ragnick is like he says he is, anyone should be droppable. Even Ronaldo. Well, Carey dropped Ronaldo, but anyone's droppable. If he ain't cutting it, drop him, and then he might buck his ideas up. But I know it's only his second game, but Bruno hasn't played well. Probably since the Newcastle game. Probably that's the last time. Started on fire against Leeds, got a trick, and then Newcastle was good, and then he's just gone a bit off, hasn't he? But he's got to be droppable. The way Donny didn't play that well midweek, but the way Donny's been progressing, got to give him a chance. Do you know what I mean? He's got to try something different.
Absolutely, man. David De Gea as well, guys. Whew. Big up to David De Gea. He's been on form. He's been on job. People went against him. Screw you guys for going against it. People picked Henderson, saying that Henderson needs to stop. And now look at the fruits of David De Gea's labours just showing. Brilliant man of the match display by him. Although some of them gave it to McTominay, which I don't understand because I don't think he was sourcing. But yes, David De Gea, another man of the match display. How important is David De Gea so far, especially in that game, guys? Because we had so many opportunities we could have conceded goals, but David De Gea saved us.
The thing with David De Gea is he's a great. Don't get me wrong, he's a great goalie, but when he's not got nothing to do, he loses concentration. You've seen it a couple of times. Do you know what I mean? Like against Norwich, he had a lot to do, and he was, he kept us in it. But them times when he's got nothing to do, and then he'll just, that's why I don't get picked for Spain, because concentration was, he loses concentration. But yeah, he did keep us in it. He's a great keeper. That's why he's our number one.
He's been arguably our best player this season, to be honest. I do agree with what you said.
It's just worrying that he's our best player. That's the problem. It's worrying, isn't it? Because the defense
changes.
It's worrying.
Yeah, because the issue that we had under the previous regime is that teams are running through us so easily. So De Gea was always under constant pressure, making save after save after save. That's why he's our best player at the moment. But like you said, he should be our best player. We should have midfielders and attackers being our best player. So hopefully, once Ralph implements his philosophy and the players buy into it, we'll have more control over games, and we won't have to see De Gea saving us all the time, because that's worrying signs where we're winning because of De Gea. So That's what we do. That's what we need to do. But that is a good point in terms of De Gea's concentration levels. When he hasn't got nothing to do, he is susceptible to that odd error. But so far, so good. We can't complain. He's certainly earning his money with all these saves that he's making. But going forward, we shouldn't be relying on De Gea to get us wins. It should be our strikers getting us wins. So
I'm gonna just stop you there, Joe, because I want to get Em's thoughts quickly on his performances. Big
Look,
up to
he's
you
smart.
that's tuning in, all smiling in. Like, what was your view on David De Gea's performance, Ems?
Bro, he's number one for a reason. You get me? All this Dean Henderson rubbish, bro. They need to throw that in the bin. You know what I'm saying? That for me, that if it were for David De Gea, mate, we would have been 3-1 down or something like that. You know what I mean? So I feel like all that doubt about who's number one is in the bin. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But guys, those of you who tune in, smash that like button, make sure you subscribe. But let's move along to the of course the manager, the players, and the media reaction after that game. We was gonna do man of the match and donkey of the match, but we are 31 minutes in. We've gone far too deep. But let's bring up some statistics first of all. We have Pastor Fred again delivering on a Saturday this time, not on a Sunday. Fred again with 91 pass accuracy, 75% long pass accuracy, 11 ground duels contested, 10 ground duels won, 7 attempted tackles, 7 successful tackles, 2 attempted dribbles, 2 successful dribbles. Fred again having another good game. Of course, we have Ralph Ragnick is the only second Manchester United manager to register a clean sheet in his first 2 league games in charge of the club after Ernest Mangley in 1903. Cristiano Ronaldo himself has now equaled Oli Gunnar. Sorry, I'm so sorry, but I have to read this because that's what it says. Cristiano Ronaldo has now equalized Oli Premier League goal tally. Yes. So apparently that's 91 goals. Cristiano Ronaldo has now scored against 165 different teams in his career. 120 for club, 45 for country. Norwich City, his latest victim. Now let's move on to the players quote. Of course, Harry Maguire speaking to Sky Sports after the game. You guys can probably watch that later on. Captain Harry Maguire, our current captain, who actually captains a man like Christian. You know, it's just funny. But Harry Maguire also says that when you're playing every week, some performances aren't going to be at the highest level. We want to reach a level where every performance is high intensity for sure. We need to play better than that if we want to achieve what we want to achieve. He also said that the most important thing was the 3 points. It was a tough condition. They put us under pressure. They were aggressive. If we keep a clean sheet, you've got a great chance. Harry Maguire continued to say that in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we didn't look after the ball well enough. You've seen the top teams do it. They don't play well enough every week, but they still get the result. Harry Maguire, again, lastly, says he's been very disappointed with our defensive record this year. He's been very disappointed with his. He should start off saying that I'm very disappointed with my defensive abilities and my defensive record this year before he says we, because it's mainly him. All the mistakes is him. We know we need to do better. David De Gea did great today. First of all, guys, what did you think of Harry Maguire's comments right there? Because I'm going to bring it up to you, Jerome, before I move on to the next guy. Before I move on to the next quote, which is David De Gea. He said a lot of things. He said he's been very disappointed with our defensive record this year. Yeah. We know we need to do better. David De Gea did great. He talked about, of course, when you're playing every week, some performances are going to be at the highest level. We want to reach a level where every performance is high intensity. For sure, we need to play better than that. And what was your thoughts on Harry Maguire's comments after the game?
I think Harry Maguire's his post-match interview was just so timid and lacking in confidence. When I was watching it, I just wanted to turn the TV off because he was just talking a whole lot of nonsense.
Captain.
What he should have been saying was, we weren't happy with the performance. There's a lot we can improve on. and we'll work on that for the next game. Not making excuses on other top teams. They don't play well and they still win something. We don't care about other teams. Focus on you. Focus on your team. You're the captain. Sound demanding. Have some authority. Tell us what needs to be done and stop giving us some generic answers as if someone told you backstage to say that. Like, come on, give us something to look forward to. Saying stuff, you just sounded like the previous regime. What they would say, oh, we didn't do this, that, well, we need to improve. Yeah, we know that. Tell us what you're going to do about it. Have some accountability. It's just his presence and his communication skills are just lacking, and it's not feeding off onto the players by the looks of it, and certainly not the fans. So that's my thoughts on Harry Maguire's interview.
Yeah, and I'm going to move it on to, of course, David De Gea. David De Gea goes on regarding, of course, he said spoke about Victor Lindelof, which I hope with Victor Lindelof is okay. Of course, as you guys did see, Victor Lindelof came off holding his chest, struggling to breathe back. We all hope that he's all right and be fit for the next game. Said David De Gea did say, I don't know what was going on. He was feeling a bit struggling with breathing. We saw Eriksen and Aguero now. It's better to change. He talked about it's good under Ralph Ragnick. We're defending better. That's one of the reasons why. Of course, Bocce from Football Capital did say that. He did say this, boys. Why under Ollie, everyone was giving him stick for playing McFred, but now that Ralph does it, no one has problem. What I said in response to that, Butch, is that it's because, of course, when Ralph does something, I can fully trust him that he has an idea with it. So if he's playing McFred, he's probably right. You know, when Ollie does it, I'm shaking because these players don't really know what they would be doing. They don't have instructions. Whereas they go outside with Ragnick with instructions of what to do, who to tackle, who to man mark, what to do with the ball, how long can I hold the ball for, and what can I do. I'm more confident with that McFred under a different, because the performance is different. Under Ollie, I remember, Butch, I keep on saying this, we get this. How many times have you been seeing this since Ralph has come in? No one can go through that middle and start fingering us. It's harder now. So, you know, somehow that asshole that we used to have has now tightened up. You know, it's like, you can't get in there no more. This arse ain't loose. You get me? But yeah,
that's what the ex-manager did to us, isn't it? Made us feel so bad.
Basically, only got us like some pussies, just literally just
bending over.
Pete, to emphasize on what you said is true though, because if you check Fred's last 3 games for us, he's been very solid. You've been reading his stats almost every other show. Fred's been very good. So you saying we did say Fred was good from the very first day we signed him, but under the old regime, he was terrible. Nothing that they did worked.
I'm not even gonna lie, you know, I kind of wanted Fred to just be ditched and for Van der Beek to get a chance, but like you guys said, Ralph, it seems like he knows what he's doing. He's giving everyone a clean slate. Obviously, he sees stuff that we don't see in training, and maybe he thinks that the way he wants to play, but Fred will do it better than the pairing with Van der Beek. And so we'll just have to see what happens. But I know for sure that this is not his ideal partnership, and I'm pretty sure he's got midfielders in mind that he wants to purchase to play in that midfield. So he's just basically working with what he's got at the moment. But
you still got the same people behind him.
Fred is not going to win us anything.
You still got the same people behind him, though. It's just one head that's got changed, but the other people all the same.
Two new additions to the squad.
Yeah, two new addition. They ain't gonna change nothing right now. Like we said before, it takes time to settle in.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going
to get a new midfielder in.
Can I?
We'll definitely get someone else in.
Can I continue now, guys? It's good. And I will say it's good under Ralph Ragnick. We're defending better today. We conceded too many chances, but he wanted to be ready for the long balls in behind because he wants us to play very high. I have to be focused for the whole game. You know, I think he heard that against you, Monzi. He said he doesn't concentrate, so now he wants to be focused for the whole game because Monzi doesn't concentrate. But let's move it on. Let's move on to Ralph Ragnick. Of course, he spoke after that game because he also said it was about intensity of the game physically. physicality, body language. On this kind of level, you need to be physically present. Ragnick also said that it was very intense game, very physical. They played well. Norwich didn't play like a bottom team. We had some problems in the first 15 minutes. I will tell you right now, Ragnick, you can play the bottom team and then we'll move to you in England. Now you know what the Premier League is really about. You can play anyone that shit that day they play you because you're a top team, they will give it 150%. Now you know
We're not
what
a
the
top
Premier League is
team.
about.
We're not a top team, though. That's what I
No,
keep
but
saying.
of
We're
course,
not a top team.
no, but
You're not a top team.
Manchester United, of course,
The
the
name
name
itself
Manchester
is
United
big.
make oppositions lick their lips and say,
We
"Ooh,
are united, you know.
this is
What
this
is
is
it?
this is a big game for me. I really want to turn up against Manchester United and score goals." You
Oh,
know,
no, yeah. I think we're a big team, but
yeah.
the press don't think we're a big team anymore.
No longer the big team in the press and also the globally as well in terms of everyone else's fault. We've been down. Ragnar also said at halftime, I told the boys we needed to increase the speed intensity of the game. The second half was a little bit better, but at the end we were lucky to have a clean sheet, and there were 2 or 3 clean sheets saved. And brilliant says Ragnar also said it's another clean sheet, but still a lot of work to do, which is absolutely true. The second half was not at all happy with the amount of corners that we gave away, but we got the 3 points. We have conceded the highest amount of goals in the top 10. Now we have 2 clean sheets, which is good, but we still need to improve on that away, especially against physical teams or teams that attack like Norwich did. I'm gonna leave it there because, of course, we want to talk about other things. But in overall, I'm gonna throw it to Munzi because obviously he didn't get to speak in the little 2 debates that they guys had. What was your thoughts on Ralph Ragnick's post-match comments?
Well, yeah, I just think he's right what he says. About the like I said about Norwich. You know what I mean? Like I know everyone. Yeah, I know they're bottom, but they've got a new manager in, so they're playing much better. He's got them well drilled. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, he changes it tomorrow if we're playing. I don't know whether he's seen the good and the bad. So, do you know what I mean? He's got that to work on. But it's only 2 games, and if you'd have said to him, you play 3 games in total and you ain't lost a game, do you know what I mean? You take that, and the fact that he could play completely different team in midweek and then play it again. So yeah, I think he'll be happy.
Yes. Moving on, of course. Big up to Solomon who says, "How can I get on as a guest? Don't worry, if you shout me, we'll definitely like to bring you on." Of course, he's a passionate
Yeah.
Manchester United fan. He's always posting on his page.
And if you send me a $5, I'll get you on.
if you send Munzi a fiver, he will get you on as well. Make sure, Solomon, you subscribe to the channel of Red United TV on YouTube. Very important. Also follow me on Twitch as well. Yeah, guys. Sorry. I got lost a bit there. Yeah. Of course, guys, as well. There was something that I wanted to talk about, but I let it go. We move it on, of course, because we've spoken about Ralph Ragnar. We'll talk about the Champions League draw, guys. Remember, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you share, subscribe, of course. Today's has been an interesting one because, of course, Manchester United had 2 draws in the Champions League. Of course, the first one was done with mistakes and errors. Then it had to be done again, which at first I was like, whoo! And then next I was like, oh, that second draw, because that first draw, Manchester United drawing PSG, had our alarm bells ringing again, thinking, oh, not again. Like another night in Paris. We can't do this again. But yeah, Manchester United have drawn. But I will read out the Champions League draw to you guys, of course, in a way that is only done on TV. If you guys ever watch the full-time score, when they read it out, it's like this. Let me say it. The Champions League draw, round of 16. Real Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. Sporting Lisbon CP versus Manchester City. Benfica versus Ajax. Chelsea versus Lille. Atletico de Madrid versus Manchester United. You hear that, Villarreal versus Juventus. Inter Milan versus Liverpool. PSG, Paris Saint-Germain versus Real Madrid. Now, as you hear that, guys, Manchester United have drawn Atletico Madrid away in the first leg, which means good for us. Then again, away goals have been scrapped this season and henceforth, which we're going to be very interesting that there's no more away goals. So if it's a level on tie, it actually does go on to extra time, guys. Well, what's your guys' thoughts on Manchester United drawing Atletico Madrid before we talk about the other big draws? I want to start off with you, Amok. What's your thoughts? We can't hear you.
You can't do it, right?
I said I think we got a very good chance, but I did watch the Atletico Madrid last game against Porto. Boy, we have to be careful. Simeone got a way that he plays. If you watched against Porto, what they did to Porto, they both had the game ended 10 men each on both sides. That guy is a genius. Simeone is a genius. There's just the way he sets his team, the way he let them play, psychologically how they destroy the other team. I'm worried though, because Porto had all the ball, everything, but they still went. We are united. I'm optimistic. We're playing another Spanish team again, but it's just the manager how he set up his team that I'm really, really worried about.
Well, we lost you again, Amok. We absolutely lost you again. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear.
I said it's just the way the manager set up his team. I'm really scared about because I actually watched him. I was bored. I didn't want to watch no other Champions League match because Borussia Dortmund was winning too much. I was like, something else. And I watched Atletico Madrid. It's like I knew we was gonna face them. But I hope with this new manager, he approaches them with a different mentality, different aspect. But Simeone is a very good manager. He knows how to set up his team. He knows how to play these competitions. I'm really, really, really worried about that. Not the team itself, it's just the manager that we're facing. How he frustrates of a team. Because even against Porto, the game ended with both teams had 10 men each. It was one of the best matches I've watched so far in Champions League. So I'm just skeptical that we're facing Atletico Madrid, which we've got chance the way they play. But the manager and the setup of that team scares me a lot.
And what about you, Monzi Talks, bro? What's your thoughts on Atletico Madrid draw?
I'm just going into it like, we weren't here last year. We are probably the underdogs in like the last 16, I think. The way we're playing, we are probably the worst line there. I just think we should just go in it and just, if we win, we win. If we lose, end of the day, we ain't been here for a while. It's going to be tough against Atletico Madrid, but they just need to go out there and try and enjoy themselves and try and win. But don't play all defensive against them. Just go out and play our game. Yeah, it was PSG. As I was saying, I was messaging you saying, Spix, PSG. We don't seem to get anyone. Liverpool get flipping. Well, the second draw, Liverpool get into Milan, but. Do you know what I mean? If Atkins and Stanley were there, Liverpool would get them. Do you know what I mean? We always get the hardest draws. Do you know what I mean? It's just, but yeah, I won't be disappointed. If we get beat, I won't be like, because we ain't been here for so long. It's so much better playing in this than the Europa League. I'd rather be playing in this. If someone said to me, you'll get knocked out in the last 16 and that you won't play Europa League, yeah, I'll take that because that Europa League's crap. Do you know what I mean? Players like Ronaldo and actually be playing in that, but yeah, I'm going to look forward to it. I'm not nervous.
Big up to Barcelona that will be in the Europa League this season. Unfortunately. But for me, before I bring it up to you, Jerome, let me just get my thoughts on the draw because for me, I feel like it's a winnable game. It's going to be a tough game against Atletico. Playing against him is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard because how defensively disciplined they are and how driven they are as well. And on top of that, they got quality forward, João Felix, and you got Griezmann that's there as well, Luis Suarez. But it's now we're going to see where Manchester United will be in February because it's very interesting to see. We struggled against teams that play under the low block. So now we're going to see if Manchester United can play against a team that's an elite level of low block. and then with elite levels of players. So we're going to see how good they are if Manchester United can now open up teams with this 4-2-2-2 formation that we've been playing now. It's going to be interesting. They like to play. Atletico Madrid like to counter-attack, but we also like their counter-attack. So I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be a good game of football. Expect Atletico Madrid to be as dirty as ever in terms of trying to find fouls, trying to get men sent off. But ironically, they're the one that gets sent off at the end of the day. So we might play them with 10 men when they get a player sent off, when they get their man sent off. I can see that happening in both legs. They always do this. Atletico Madrid always get a red card in these big games. Just do it. Liverpool twice, home and away. They just don't care. Yeah, in the knockout stages against Liverpool, they did it, but they still won. I think in that 2 seasons ago in the semi-finals, but they still do. But I feel like I'm with Football Capital right there. I feel like Ronaldo will pocket Atletico. You'll come and rain on their parade, man. What about you, Jerome? What do you think about the draw against Atletico Madrid?
Yeah, when the draw first came out, I was thinking, here we go, Atletico Madrid. They're going to spoil the game. It's going to be a tight 0-0, boring, nothing much happening. But then I thought, Ralph's got two solid months to work on his philosophy, get the team playing, and if we go out there with no fear and enjoy the occasion, I think we've got a good chance of beating Atletico. Like you said, Liverpool beat them home and away. Obviously, it wasn't easy, but they got the job done. So there is a blueprint to beat them. Chelsea beat them as well last season. So although they're a tough team, they're not like unbeatable. So we definitely got a chance. And they're not even doing that well in La Liga at the moment as well. So that just shows you that there are gaps there that United can exploit. And hopefully we got Varane back, Champions League Varane, come back in February, come master up the back four. Then obviously you got Champions League Ronaldo, who loves these Champions League nights. He's got a good record against Atletico as well. So there's a lot of positives that we can look at, that we can use against Atletico. So at first I was like, it's going to be a tough game. We might not be able to break down this slow block, but Ralph's got 2 months to get it right and get us prepared mentally as well for the last 16 clash. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and it's probably the best draw that we could have hoped for, to be honest, because realistically, we had quite an easy Champions League group. Villarreal, Atlanta, Young Boys. I know some of the guys are complaining that Liverpool were getting easy draws, but they're a tough group. So you would expect them to get a bit of respite in the next round. But we had a relatively easy group, so it was always going to be a tough one. But I'd rather Atletico than PSG now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that I've digested it, I think that Atletico was the best we could have got, because with PSG, they could have, the star players that they've got, even if they're playing rubbish, we could be 2 or 3 nil down in no time. Even if they weren't even playing well, because of the struggles that they've got. But with Atletico, it's like their style is it's not set up for them to score loads of goals, which gives us a better chance to stay in the game and keep it competitive.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, imagine that, man. Someone would have said it would have been a nice audition for Pochettino to get the Manchester United playing against them, so they can get a first eye on their future potential manager.
But they got Real Madrid. So
now they got Real Madrid, which is a big tie. The biggest tie of all of them that came out in that draw was PSG versus Real Madrid, which is the most standout game there. Of course, you also had Inter, who drew Liverpool. Apart from that, the only standout big game that we all probably want to get our arse on the sofa to watch will be the PSG versus Real Madrid game.
Definitely.
I'm going to move it on, guys. You also, for those who are tuning in, you also let us know what your thoughts on the Champions League draw was, your thoughts on the game against Norwich as well. Who were you as a man of the match, a donkey of the match? And also let us know what you think of the show as well in general, if you've got any questions. But regarding the next game, which potentially might happen or might not happen, which is against Brentford, and I believe we're playing. Are we playing at home or are we playing away this game? I believe we're playing away, right? We are playing away, which will be a difficult game. Guys, potentially the match might get postponed or it might go ahead. Just in case it does go ahead, what's your thoughts on the game itself? In terms of how do you think it will go if we was to play Brentford tomorrow? Because Brentford will be a tough opposition. They done well in their previous game, and I believe they won their game as well, the last game. So they're doing well. They showed some guts against the top team as well. But yes, I'm going to start off with you, Amok. What's your thoughts?
They are newcomers. You know, the newcomers always try. They are newcomers, and you know the newcomers always try to do the bits. They've actually doing well. They got a few players that I like, and they know the one thing they do. They actually know how to pass the ball within themselves. And I've watched them play so many times during the weekends and stuff. So us facing them could make. I want to see. That's one of those matches I would actually want to see because their type of play is different. They don't sit. They will attack you. They play open as well, so it could be decent for us. Though I think if we put ourselves together and don't play like the previous match, this opportunity that we can get 3 points and keep a clean sheet as well. So I'm actually being optimistic in this case.
What's your score? What's your score prediction?
I would say 2-0.
And 2-0.
Manchester winning 2-0. Yeah.
Monzi, what about you? Before we wrap up, like, can you just give us a quick
I reckon
one?
it's gonna be tight like the Norwich game. I reckon we're gonna win 1-0. I think it's gonna be tight there. The Hayes gonna have to have a lot to do. I reckon.
Tight like this, yeah.
So 1-0.
So as you're saying, sorry, can I get a score prediction?
Yeah, 1-0. Before that, just talking about that Champions League bit. By the time we play Atletico Madrid, they've probably done the draw twice again.
You never know. And Drew, what about you, man?
Yeah, the preparations for Brentford is not ideal, to be honest. We don't even know if the guys train properly. To be honest, they closed down the Carrington training ground, and we don't even know how they're going to get up to Brentford. So if they're going down tomorrow by train or coach or private jet, it's not ideal preparations. That just to go down there expected to perform with not much training behind them or work on tactics. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game. And yeah, it's probably going to be another 1-0 to United because I can't see what more he could do from the game against Norwich. So it's with this quick turnaround, we can't expect we have to be working miracles. So I think with Brentford, just get the win and move on. And hopefully when we get back to Old Trafford, the crowd can start urging them on to start pressing and doing what Ralph wants them to do.
Yes, I hear that. So it's a tight game for him. For me, I'm just going to quickly just say this. I believe it might be a tight game. I'm now in confidence nowadays compared to where I was 4 weeks ago whenever we go to games. I wasn't up for it. I just thought it was a defeat or a draw. But nowadays, I'm more confident now because there's someone else in charge. I just don't know why. Maybe because I believe in them more in terms of what they do. But again, I'm thinking that Manchester United a 1-0 straight now win. But guys, of course, we have come to the end of the show. I know it hurts your feelings, but we'll be back next week. You get me? So we can just rejuvenate your spirit again. Of course, if there is a match tomorrow, expect a match reaction 15 minutes after or 15 to 20 minutes after the full-time whistle. I go straight live on Facebook, Twitch, and also YouTube. So make sure you press that notification button as soon as I go live. And of course, the game on the weekend. But that is it, man. We'll get to the part where you plug in the guys so they can tell you where they can find you. We're going to start off with Jerome. Jerome, where can the people find you?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram under username jwilliams_1.
_1. And that is Amok. Where can the people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, prettyflack_16, and also every Monday on this channel.
Of course not. And Monzi, where can the people find you? Where the people can subscribe to?
Yeah, you can find me at Munzi Talks on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Yeah, that's it. And here every Monday.
And of course, guys, you can always find me every Monday hosting with these guys, of course, the Red United TV gang, your catch up, of course, gang. Of course, we potentially might have a guest in the next coming weeks, someone new to just add to the flavor of all of this good stuff right now. But yes, of course, you can find me, of course, here Mondays with a live show of your live match reactions. And of course, you can always follow me on Instagram, which is @Warren_Spice, same as Twitter. And last but not least, it's very important that you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, make sure you share across all social media platforms. Follow the official Instagram account of Red United TV, which is Red United TV1, and also the TikTok account, which is Red United TV. And of course, you can always follow the Twitch, which is Red United TV, Facebook, Red United MUFC. I'm everywhere, baby. But it is what it is. Till next time, of course, with the guys. As always, remember to keep it united and remember to keep it Red United because we are out. We see you next week. Peace and love to all of you guys. Peace.
Ollie out.
He's gone now.